Hi everyone. I've got a little tip or trick to do today, or at least to show. This is on the 3800 Terex, and you can see where the tie off here is. Right behind that, coming around this pulley. I mean, that almost hits that. And down here where it comes, this may go out of focus on me here, where it comes out of this bottom one, because it's wound just like everyone does. It has to come across here, and you can see it's got a little right there where it's touching this last line, where it crosses it to come to here. I tried re-reeving it, but I couldn't figure it out doing that. I'm not that good. And I messed around with it a couple of times, and I came up with a good fix on this. And I'm going to do it here. And everybody's should be wound like this. I just came off the top up here, and down and around every one, just like everybody does. And I ended up with this, and you can see how close it is right here, just looking at it from this view. And I'm going to do a little fix on it using my little wire grippers here. It says a little one on the end. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the back to the front like this in a clockwise. I'm going to bring the front around this way and the back to the back. And I'm going to do it live and then show you what it looks like. I'm going to grab this side here, this back. At least I'm going to try. Grab the front. And twist it around like that. Come on, get on. And you can see already how that's cleared. Because now this is coming from the bottom, the front, to the back with a crossover. Now, if you do it the other way, if you bring the front to the back in a clockwise, these last two will cross each other. Right here where they do cross, they'll touch. And I'm going to see if I can keep it in focus, and you can see that it does not touch. There's a clear gap in it. It may be hard to see, but if you do this at home, you'll see. And here you can see how clear the tie off is now, and the wire doesn't even come close to the tie off. And if you're asking, does it hit it? No, it does not, because it comes straight up out of the back and right up there. And this crossover that's down here, come on, get into focus for John. The crossover that comes here, let me move the tripod, I think I'm done with that. That crossover right there is what does this. There's a better view. You can see as it comes up through here, and it's got a little angle to it. And that angle is just enough to clear the tie off. Now, if you do twist it the other way, if you bring the front to the back in a counterclockwise like that, these two will definitely hit. This will hit right here without a doubt. I did try that. So if you bring the back to the front in a clockwise motion, just like I showed, it looks a little better. Because this drove me crazy. I like the detail to look good, and I didn't like the wires so close and touching. So I put this crossover in it, and it took care of it. So there you go. It was an easy fix. I didn't even have to re-reeve anything, although I did try that first. All it takes is twisting it with a couple of little things, or even your fingers if your fingers aren't as big as mine. Mine, it's too hard to get them in here and grab one wire. So I use my little tools, and it worked out pretty good. And yes, this thing goes up and down just fine. I'm not going to do it because it takes both drums. I got to turn both of them. And you can see I did put my weight on here. I mean, I took my load off. This is the load that goes on it. It's a rooftop air handler. There you can see the fan vent. I took that off because it was a little too heavy, and I just put a couple of weights here off the 1600 just to keep this thing tensioned enough so that when you're messing around with it, you don't pull it off of everything, because you know this thing is just not, the hook is just not heavy enough. Although it is heavy, not quite heavy enough. So I put a little load on it, keeps the weight down. And you saw how easy it was to turn that around, and it didn't jump any pulleys or cause me any other problems for a change. All right, guys, there's a tip and trick for today on the 3800 Terex. There she sits in Sarens. Give you one more little look at it. You can see how far that is away from the tie-off now. Remember what it looked like when I first started. And everything just looks pretty typical. All right, guys, have a great day. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it helps.